In this lecture, we are going to study indoor garden designing and what preparations are required for designing. Before moving further, let us understand the term indoor gardening. Indoor gardening is concerned with the growing of houseplant within a residence or building, in a conservatory or in a greenhouse. Indoor gardens are sometimes incorporated as part of air conditioning or heating systems. Indoor gardening extends the growing season in the fall and spring and can be used for winter gardening. When the winter comes, you are dreaming of fresh green from your summer garden. Consider growing indoors. It improves the efficiency of indoor space and can provide your family with a wealth of fresh organic foods. An indoor garden can take up as much or as little space as you are willing to give it. Growing plants of all kinds, even tomato gardening, can be done on a windowsill or on a table. Some considered factor for indoor gardening is space, light, temperature, humidity, etc. Let us discuss how to design a successful indoor garden. There are following steps to design a successful indoor garden. They are preparing of your garden, designing a container garden and designing a hydroponic gardens. Plants need to light to photosynthesis and need to photosynthesis to survive. Without adequate light, a plant will grow tall and spindly. If there is enough energy to grow, they still may not be totally expand. Temperature of 65 to 75 degree Fahrenheit are best for most of the plants. Let us learn the above 5 steps in detail. Preparing for your garden. Some preparation is done prior to install the indoor plant. These are: decide on style of garden, choose the right space, properly control the environment and choose your plant. For deciding a style of garden, there are two general styles of gardening. These are container gardening and hydroponic gardening. Container gardening is just as it sounds, a series of containers that are used as of traditional gardening soil and method to grow your plants. A hydroponic garden is a special type of indoor garden that uses fertilized water and a non-soil starter for your plants. Container gardens are a good option for someone who may want to rearrange your plant or eventually move them outdoors. For this, choose the right space. Creating a successful indoor garden relies heavily on the selecting a space indoor that will help your plant to grow. Choose an area that has lot of windows and sunlight. Typically, east and west facing windows are the best. When at all possible, place your garden near a window to allow more heat and sunlight. Avoid rooms that have cold temperature. Cold can kill and slow the growth of your plant. The biggest reason for planting an indoor garden is the ability to completely control the environment. While this requires more work, it also greatly increases the success of your plant when done properly. There are three general things you will be in charge of controlling. These are air temperature, water frequency, and soil condition. These will vary slightly depending upon the system of garden that you are using and plant you decide to grow. Drip system is a series of small tubes supplied to each plant and a timer that turns the water on or off for a certain period of each time. Next is to choose your plant. Before you head to nursery, and start picking out random attractive plant. You must determine which plant will work well in your garden. Some plants will flourish indoors while others will struggle. Some popular plants to grow indoor include herbs, fruits, vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, carrots, radishes, beans, peas, etc. Another step is designing is a container garden. These are the following steps of designing a container garden. For this, firstly choose your container. Create your potting mix and set up your garden system. And then maintain your plant. For designing a container, firstly choose your containers. There is a wide variety of options of container available to the plant as traditional pots or container, old vases or plastic bottles. You don't need to get a large container to start seeds. Look for a container that has holes in the bottom to allow for drainage, or simply drill holes into any container. Plastic container retain moisture the best, but terracotta pots are typically seen as the most attractive option. In order to create potting mix, take soil from outside, but this soil is not has proper balance of sand, clay for the ideal porousness. While you can purchase pre-potting mix also. To make your own potting mix, you need 1 part coir peat and 1 part vermiculite and 2 parts of compost. In the next step, set up your garden system. For this, set up control measures, factors such as light, water system and temperature controls. If you are using a shelving system, it should be easy to hang fluorescent light and your drip system to the shelves. Otherwise, you use your space until you have all components adjusted. Keep in mind that certain plants require different amount of light and group them appropriately. Next is maintain your plant. After planting your garden, you need to upkeep it in order to be successful. Make sure that your plants are getting regular amount of sunlight and water, and the soil temperature does not drop below the 70° Fahrenheit. Let us learn designing a hydroponic garden. What is hydroponic garden? It is a subset of hydroculture and is a method of growing plant using mineral nutrient solution in water without soil. Have a look at following step which is to follow while setting up hydroponic garden. Firstly, choose a hydroponic system. There are many different ways to set up a hydroponic garden, but they all follow the same theme. A water tank is located on the bottom and stack of shelf plants are placed on top. The fertilized water from the tank is fed to the plant using a pump system and a water filter. A few variation of system includes using a fish in your tank and also using one large container instead of many small ones. Another method is choose your location. Just like with a container garden, a hydroponic garden will thrive with the most available sunlight. Choose a space near a window. In fact, if you are using a small garden, the window may be the only necessary source of light. Otherwise, you will need to find a location with a lot of vertical space for the stacking that is necessary for the system. When possible, put your hydroponic system on hard floors rather than carpets to avoid the mold and mildew growing. Next step is prepare your container. As with a container garden, virtually any container is appropriate for a hydroponic system so long as it is not chemically treated and allows for drainage through the bottom. Perlite is a type of porous soil replacement that work well for this type of compact garden. Then plant your seed as per usual and water them heavily to help reduce transplant shock. After preparing your container, next step is set up your system. If you have purchased a commercial hydroponic system, then you need to follow the package direction for setting it up. If you are making your own homemade system, you can follow some loose direction to set up. Put your water tank on the bottom shelf, elevated at least a few inches above the floor. Now set up your water pump system to deliver water to the plant on the shelf above. Your fluorescent light should be hung directly above the plant. Now maintain your system. Over time, you will need to make sure that your hydroponic system is in good condition so that it keep running smoothly. Replenish water in the tank is necessary and adjust the position of light as the plant grows. Thank you and see you in the next session.